Howdy everybody, I am Kolik, and this is Summoner's War. Alright, so today we're doing a little spotlight on one of the units that I like to use a lot in Guild Wars, and I get a few questions about, and that is Ermeda. So without further ado, let me get into the runes, and what I really want to talk about is not only the current runes that he has on him, or her. Can you tell? I don't know. Anyway, so these are the current runes I have on Ermeda. She's got a good chunk of HP. You notice the defense on Ermeda is pretty low, so it's hard to stack a lot of defense on Ermeda. A reasonable amount of speed. I'd like to get this higher. Her crit rate is blah, to be honest. I mean, max resist, accuracy. So now, if you're on an awakening, she doesn't get any crit or anything like that for free, unfortunately. And I usually run her will, shield. Both those are required. Now, if you don't have revenge that you can fit on her and still maintain reasonably good tanky stats, it's not required. Revenge can actually get you in trouble when you revenge a Rakan and the Rakan then collapses your revenge. Yes, that can happen, and yes, it can hurt a lot. But on the other hand, revenge can sometimes clear away that buff. It can attack a few times. You can do ridiculous amounts of damage sometimes. It's a trade-off. Okay? It's very possible that you should go will, shield, endure so that you have enough resistance if you don't have those kinds of runes. Now, these runes are not my top tier runes. Okay? I just want to make that perfectly clear. These are not my top tier runes. My top tier runes go on my Guild War defense units first. Okay? Not my offense units. Of course, those overlap some, right? They should. That's where you want it to be. Alright, so this one is a purple rune. Okay? It rolled speed twice, and it rolled resistance once. So, not a legendary rune. But obviously, you need resistance. If I gem this, I would like to actually remove the crit rate and put on HP percent, obviously. And then that's be a pretty solid rune. You could even consider this being used for like Wahi or Annabelle. Then it may be in competition with that. Anyway, so next one. This again is a blue rune. You roll once into speed, once into defense percent. It's not an amazing rune. Again, I'd like to get another speed sub on this, but revenges are, I don't quite have enough speed grinds yet for revenge to be able to get this thing up. But to be honest, it's only a blue rune. Do you really want to spend a speed grind on that? I actually have been tending towards no. And the reason is because of all these reappraisal stones that you get. All these new legendary runes can actually be good. And because they can be good, you want to be able to save gems and stones for them. Now, I haven't reappraised revenge runes yet, but I have been working through, even though I've been farming dragons constantly, I have been working through all of my violent runes that are legendary, and most of them are slot 1 and 3, sometimes 5 that I've had saved up from before. So, this is very possible, but I'll move on to revenge and get some of them done next. And I've done a few will also. Alright, anyway, that aside, we'll go to the next one. It's reasonable. I'd rather have less crit rate and more HP percent. But it's a reasonably good rune. That's a legendary rune, by the way. It doesn't look. Yeah, he rolled max crit rate, I think, and twice into resistance and one into defense. Yeah. Anyway, this one was a purple rune that rolled twice into resistance, once in defense, and I've got it rolled pretty high in defense, and then I grinded it. So this one's pretty solid. I like it. If I gemmed crit rate away here, which you could, it's not necessarily going to give you anything better. I mean, you could gem maybe accuracy over crit rate. That's a good possibility. Anyway, moving on to the next one. This one's only a 5-star. I don't remember if this was a purple or a legendary beforehand, but it's still only at 5 stars, so you can tell the rolls are kind of crap. I mean, and I'm not gonna waste a grindstone on this 10 speed. Um, Hopefully, I can get a better rune to replace this one, but it is what it is at the moment. And finally, the revenge one. This one is crap. All right, it's just crap. This rune, I don't know why it's on Ermeda. It it sucks. It doesn't go for anything I want. It doesn't have defense percent. Its speed is low. It has no really resistance rolls. What can I say? I guess I just don't get a lot of revenge HP percent in slot 6. Alright, so now what I really want to talk about this though is the philosophy behind Ermeda. Okay, so Ermeda is a tank for multiple fire units. Now, you can run HP, crit rate, HP percent. And I've done this before. It does make it substantially more fragile if you do that. So I would not recommend that if your goal is to tank 2 fire units with her, okay? Or be able to take a really good perma with her. Wouldn't recommend it. You can, okay? It's totally reasonable, but I wouldn't recommend it. So, second thing to take away is that I'm ruined 100% resistance. Now, there's 2 camps of argument on this. First camp is that people who want to land armor breaks are running 85% accuracy. Orion, Galleon, those kind of things. And if they are, 100% resistance and 0% resistance are the exact same thing. Okay? So resistance is only good for people who don't specialize their stats in that stuff. So Theomars, it's pretty good resistance against that. It's good against Perna Stun. It's good against Recon Taunt. It's good against, you know, all sorts of these things. Retesh Armor Break. It's good against those kind of abilities. Not very good against Orion and Galleon. Okay, so you need to be aware of that. If this is the kind of team that you're going to take it into against, whether you want to ruin resistance or whether it's not going to matter. Right? Because this guy's a guy you're only going to bring in an offense. And he's only going to be able to, his only job is to tank something. And if the only armor breaker that you're tanking is a Galleon, then resistance doesn't do anything. And if that compromises your defensive stats too much to get that 100% resistance, then don't. Go for what you can, but don't compromise on the defensive stats just to try to get the 100% resistance when it doesn't really matter. Okay, so I have some speed on her, alright? What I do is when I go into the Rune Optimizer is I look and I sort by max estimated hit points, okay, which is a combination of HP and defense. And then I take a look and I say, I start incrementing in groups of 5 or 10 speed and see how much it's going to cost me to increment the speed of Ermeda. Okay? This is going to differ by a lot by your runes. When I rune Ermeda, well, you know, if I rune Ermeda first and she had the first crack at all my good runes, then, you know, she'd probably be 200 speed with the same stats and, you know, more HP probably and better defense with still 100% resist. But she's not my best, okay? She's not going to be my best because she's just designed to be a tank. So having said that, your runes are not going to be as good either. It just depends on when you want to rune her up. So when you do this, take a look at it and say, okay, well, 110 Ermeda speed Ermeda is too slow for me. I want 120. Well, if you lose 20% of your defensive stats, that may not be worth it. That's how I rune up all my guys when I do it. I say, I'm going to sort by defensive abilities, and then I want to see how much speed it's really going to cost to drop these things. And sometimes you can gain 20, 30 speed and really not cost you much at all. And if so, well, then that's worth it. But there's times where that may not be worth it. Anyway, guys, so that's kind of my design philosophy behind Ermeda. Just a little synopsis again of what her stats are, what she does for me, and yeah, there you go. All right, guys, this is Kolick signing off.